Honkai Impact is still dying. From the lack of patches this year to bringing back Part 1 characters to just leaving things on their own and really just being able to auto-clear anything, this game is not in a place where it's going to grow. In fact, it is in the opposite place where I do believe it is still dying. A couple months back, I made a video, admittedly a bit clickbait, that this game was dying because of the lack of updates. It's been a few months now, and I still believe this is to be the case. Instead of designing new characters, a lot of old characters got redesigned. Characters who have made the ultimate sacrifice are now back, and I just feel like they don't know what they're doing with this story anymore. Now, I am not updated or caught up with the new story. All I know is that they are just bringing back Part 1 characters and making stories about them again. But that just tells me, in my opinion, that Part 2 is just Part 1 once again. That Part 2 was ultimately a failure and that they have to go back to the tried and true method. And that is fine, that makes sense. The problem I have with going back on that is that their stories were already completed and they're bringing back characters who have made sacrifices. Bringing them back almost throws away all that time we spent with them that ultimately led to their sacrifice. Kiana had to say goodbye to her friends and she was put into some sort of eternal sleep on the moon. Part 1 ended with a really nice message about saying goodbye and valuing the memories that you made along that journey. But nope, we're bringing Kiana back because we can. Ellie is apparently back too. I don't know why, but last I checked, she sacrificed herself and lived inside of Mei. Now, I'm willing to bet that Himiko is going to be added to this roster as well, even though she died back in Chapter 9. I'm sure the lore reason will be we never found her body since Chapter 9, so she was just chilling and watching everything unfold. While we're at it, let's just revive Coralie for whatever reason. I actually played when she initially died, and I thought, wow, this is actually interesting. They killed off one of the main trio members from Part 2. I thought it was interesting that they were splitting up the group and making everyone go their separate way. I don't know why she's back, but she's back now, and I guess that's cool. It really seems like to me that they completely given up on Part 2, and they just want to make more money by just recycling the old characters who have had their arcs concluded. They peaked with Part 1, so they're not gonna go and make Part 2 good again. They've already left this game alone for a long time, so why add in significant endgame modes or really do anything new for this game? Patches now are once every 2 months, and the new character is just going to be another Part 1 character with a cool reskin. And of course, they're going to be the best character in slot for their role. And people are gonna say, oh, 2 months of saving, that's great. But the game is just static now. Nothing new is coming. Older game modes have really just been legacized and they're just auto-clearable, which is great, that's great. Give quality of life to your game. However, it would be also cool to add new stuff. Add new significant game modes, add stuff that's fun. Don't just add events. I checked the battle pass and it ends in half a year? Am I mistaking that? I can't be crazy, right? That's not right. That's pretty bad. It really seems like to me that the battle pass just sort of got let go and just almost put on an auto thing, which is great because you can save more. I understand that. It just feels like it's been left alone as well. It just seems like every 2 months it's gonna be just a new skin in some really tedious event that has a time limit of over a month. I have not played this game actively since I made my last video on it, and checking it out again, nothing really changed. I've logged in a few times to pull on stuff, but the game has mostly stayed the same throughout all that time. And I'm so curious to hear what people who still play this game think about the game state of their game. To me, from an outer perspective, I just feel like they're kind of capitalizing on nostalgia instead of developing anything new. They messed up Part 2, but they couldn't do anything about their game, so they're just like, okay, let's just make all the Part 1 cast again because these are characters that are great and we love them. Now spend $200 to get them. It is pretty sad to see, but it's also interesting to see how, I guess, Hoyo handles older games. Eventually, updates in games are going to slow down, the less they feel like they need to update them. I'm so interested to see how they handle Genshin and Star Rail once these games get as old as Honkai. I want to see how these games are treated once their main stories get concluded. If they get concluded, I don't know if they will. I think they will, but if they just do what they did in Honkai, they're just gonna bring these characters back and they're gonna kind of throw away all of what they tried to do with Part 2. And I don't think this game state is going to change. I think things are just going to get slower and slower because they can be. Honkai Impact is not that relevant anymore, and they're clearly just trying to build off of the nostalgia that we once had for it. It's like they've given up on developing new characters and are just going to resell the stuff that already worked beforehand. And it's not like I feel like for a lot of people, if not at least to me. It was when they killed off Coralie was when I thought, wow, they're actually doing something new. This is interesting. What if they did this in part 1? Nope, she's back, and I'm going to predict Himiko will come back in 2026. We'll get a new Mei and Bronya just because those characters are popular. I also wonder if these part 1 characters, when they eventually get put into Honkai Star Rail, if that is done for a similar method to capitalize on nostalgia. Both characters are made under the Honkai name, so it wouldn't be surprising to do such a thing. I'm not really kept up to Honkai Star Rail anymore, but Cyrene, she's gonna sell well, and I know people are freaking out because she is just Ellie. Overall, it is just really sad to see, and I think it is telling of what the point of this game is in. I think that it is on its last few legs, and I think that's not going to change. I don't think the developers care much about this game, and I don't think people are playing this game so much anymore. I think it's incredibly hard to keep up with a gacha for this long, but I don't know, I just feel like this game is not in a good place anymore, and I don't think it's been in a good place for a very long time. I think a lot of modes have been left to be done on their own. I think that they don't matter anymore. I don't think that we're going to get anything new for this game. I think things have stagnated, and I think that's been the norm for a long time. From redoing part 1 characters to really revamping the battle pass to leave it on its own, maybe even for half a year, I'm not sure about that. I didn't play when they revamped it, to just straight up not updating their game on a timely manner. This game is not really in a good place, and I think it's stagnating. I think it's declining. I think that it's dying. Again, just to reiterate, if you're still playing this game, I'm super curious to hear what you think about the game state. Do you think this game is alive? Did I miss the point completely? Or are you someone who also quit around the time I did and just don't want to deal with this game anymore because of how slow things have been? I want to know if the story is actually decent. I want to know if Coralie's revival made sense or if they're just going back on another thing, another sacrifice to be ignored. Or is this game just what I think it is? Just an excuse to make more money and no real creativity is put into it. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.